How's it going, you awesome bunch of bakers? Hope your day is going great so far. Welcome back to another video. Today I'll show you to make my ultimate hot cross buns. Let's get in the kitchen and get started. Hot cross buns are an Easter classic here in the UK. They're being sold here 2 months ahead of time. That's how popular they are. Sweet buns filled with plump raisins and candied citrus peel, flavored with mixed spice. No wonder they're so beloved. We have of course made them on this channel already, but this version is the ultimate one. Forget the other ones. I don't think that I could make them any softer than this. So let's get on with it. Let's see what we need. For the dough, we need some white bread flour, water, yeast, salt, sugar, mixed spice, which is a spice mix that contains cinnamon, nutmeg, coriander, ginger, caraway, and cloves. We'll also need some melted butter, some candied citrus peel, and some currants or raisins. For the decorative crossing paste, we'll need some softened butter, flour, and icing sugar. To make the buns nice and shiny, we'll brush them with a syrup made with water and sugar once they come out the oven. When it comes to the equipment, we'll need a baking tray. I'm using my Lloyd's Pans pizza pan. It measures around 8 inches or 20 centimeters long and 6 inches or 15 centimeters wide. As long as you're not using a smaller tray, you'll be fine. I like using this tray because it gives the batch of buns straight edges. That is the only reason. We'll also need some baking paper for lining our baking tray. I like folding it instead of cutting it. That way nothing leaks past the paper and does make the tray dirty, or at least not as dirty. We'll also need a bowl for mixing our dough in, scales, a dough scraper, a temperature probe, a brush, a spatula, a whisk, and a piping bag. Pretty much my whole arsenal here. The piping bag is crucial if you want to be able to draw straight lines on your buns. And last but not least, we'll need a small pan for making the sugar syrup. Okay, let's mix up the decorative paste just to get out of the way. In a small bowl, combine the flour, the sugar, and the softened butter. Mix it to a paste. This is not the classic paste used in hot cross bun recipes. This is the same paste I used in my Chinese cocktail bun recipe. I think it's far superior to the regular crossing paste. It turns out nice and crunchy. It's not chewy, and it's very tasty. And I'm already trying to figure out some other recipes I could use it in. Okay, transfer the paste to a piping bag, tie it up, leave it on side. Don't refrigerate it, it'll go too hard. Okay, let's begin making our dough. And the reason why these buns are so soft is because they are made using the scalding method. So in a large bowl, we'll combine the flour, salt, sugar, and mixed spice. We'll pour in some boiling water to cook the flour. Then we'll grab a whisk and mix it until it's nice and smooth. But if it's a bit lumpy, don't worry about it. By the time we mix the dough, it will all smooth out. Usually a scald only consists of flour and water, but I like to add some of the other ingredients to make mixing down the line easier. And it's also a good idea to add anything that needs hydrating. The flour is cooked in the first few seconds, so I don't see a reason why we can't add more stuff to the scald afterwards. So we are also adding the butter, the candied peel, and the raisins. Okay, cover the scald, leave it to cool down at room temperature or in the fridge or even in the freezer. It'll take about 2 to 3 hours at room temperature, but if you pop it in the freezer like I did, it'll only take about 15 minutes. At around 28 degrees Celsius, it is still pretty warm, but all the spices and all the sugar in this recipe will really slow down the yeast, so we need that higher temperature to make the buns rise. Okay, once you're happy with the temperature of your scald, add the yeast to it, mix it in, then finally add the remaining flour, grab your dough scraper and mix it to a dough. We're aiming for a final dough temperature of around 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. If your dough is warmer, it'll ferment more rapidly. If it's cooler, it'll take longer. Adjust the fermentation time up and down accordingly. At this temperature, bulk fermentation will take around 2 hours. It will be punctuated by one fold halfway through. So let's cover up the dough, leave to rise for 1 hour and then give it a fold. Folding serves various purposes. It is always beneficial to fold your dough at least once. You can find a full video about folding and degassing in the Principles of Baking playlist. To perform the fold, place the dough on the table with the smooth side down, flatten it out, fold the edge over the middle whilst go around the circle until the reach point where it started. Then flip it smooth side up again, tighten it against the table, that's your fold done. Place the dough back into the bowl for 1 more hour of fermentation. And now it should really start puffing up a lot. It should be nice and big and puffy by the end of bulk fermentation. Once the bulk fermentation time is over, we can weigh the dough and divide it into 12 equal pieces. Although that's not mandatory. If you want to make larger buns, then divide the dough into 9 pieces perhaps. Or leave the dough whole, make a hot cross loaf. I actually did that a couple of years ago. You can find the hot cross loaf video in the Easter breads playlist on my channel. Okay, no matter how many buns you're making, after dividing, get to pre-shaping. And it goes pretty much the same way as the fold we performed earlier. So flatten the dough, fold the edge over the middle, go around a circle until you reach the point where you started. Then flip it smooth side up, tighten it against the table, that's your dough ball done. After pre-shaping, cover up the dough balls, leave them to rest for 15 minutes. Once the timer is up and the gluten has relaxed, we can perform the final shaping. You see how the dough balls are not very smooth and perfect after the pre-shaping step. The final shaping step is there to correct that. So once again, take a dough ball, place it on the table with smooth side down, and repeat all the other steps I mentioned in the pre-shaping step. Arrange the little dough balls on the baking tray, take some melted butter and brush it between the buns. This will prevent them from sticking together. Just cover up these guys and leave them to proof. Final proofing time will depend on the temperature of your kitchen. Around an hour and a half to 2 hours should do it. You can place them in a warm area to speed up the process. Towards the very end of the final proof, switch on the oven to 170 degrees Celsius, 340 Fahrenheit, fan on, or 190 Celsius, 375 Fahrenheit, fan off. Once the dough balls have nicely puffed up, they are ready for the oven. But before we can place them in there, let's draw some crosses on them. This is the classic pattern. Of course, you can draw whatever you want on your buns, or you can cover them completely in a thin layer of topping. I decided to give them a little spritz of water before baking them, just to help them rise a little bit better. Right, let's get these things in the oven. They'll take around 25 minutes to fully bake. Just before they're ready, start preparing the syrup. Combine the water and the sugar in a small pan and set it up on high heat, bring it up to a boil. You can customize the syrup, add some other flavors to it, perhaps some cloves or even cardamom. It's really up to you. Or skip the syrup altogether if you don't want your buns to be shiny and slightly sticky. They are your buns. Make them the way you like them. It's all up to you. Okay, these babies are ready, so let's get them out of the oven. As soon as they come out, brush them with that hot sugar syrup. It really enhances the look in my opinion. They look a little bit bland without it, but now look at that shine. But that's about it. That's how you make the ultimate soft hot cross buns. They are soft, they are squishy, they are sweet, they are super flavorful. That crunchy topping is just the icing on the cake. I really don't think I could improve this recipe any further. It doesn't contain any funny ingredients. All it takes is a couple of methods and a little bit of time. Don't forget that there's a whole playlist of Easter bread recipes on my channel. It is full of delicious and unique bakes from around the world, and plenty of my own interpretations. Click the join button on my channel to find out about early access videos. Sometimes I post stuff up to a month ahead of time. And if you have watched this far, please click that like button. It really helps a lot in promoting these videos and showing them to a wide audience, which helps our little community grow. So what do you think this new and improved recipe? Have you tried my other ones? Let me know down in the comments. If you want to see videos like this one, click over here. Subscribe to the channel, click right here. That's all I have for you today. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.